5 things that I stopped doing when I was a law student to get better in law school. I took my grades from 8 failed classes to getting 3 HDs in my last semester. I never failed a class again once I stopped doing these things. These are definitely things that every law student should stop doing. By the way, if you're new here, the content that I post on my blog and on this page is right here. It all came from my experiences bouncing back from 8 failed classes to now becoming a lawyer. First things first, you gotta stop being afraid to ask the questions. There is so much that you learn in law. Like, it is inevitable that you are gonna come across multiple things that you don't understand right away, that just won't click for you right away. And yes, sometimes while it is good to try to find the answer yourself, sometimes you can't help it and you gotta ask a teacher or another student or your professor, your unit convener. In law, and this is not just in law school, but especially if you are considering working in law, it is important to get things double checked to make sure that you are doing things correctly. Because law is a different space where you have other things on the line. So that's why you want to make sure that you get it right. So it is a good habit to ask those questions while you are studying a unit, any unit throughout your entire law school journey. Just ask those questions. Second one, you gotta stop addressing things closer to the exam rather than in the moment. Again, like what I mentioned earlier, it is inevitable that you're gonna come across things that you don't understand at first. But here's a mistake that some people make that I especially made during my early years of law school that affected my grades, got me to fail, which was addressing those things that I didn't understand until it was 2 to 3 weeks before the exam. The thing is, the things that you don't understand accumulate. So by the time you get closer to your exam, there's all of a sudden a whole bunch of things that you need to address. That's why it'll be so much easier when you address it in the moment. You address it as you go. So by the time you get to that point, you don't have to feel overwhelmed with the multiple other things that you need to get through. The third one is reading without a preview, because we know, law school, a lot of readings, not just in textbooks, any other sources of media, including cases. If you want to keep your if you want to know what you are reading, if you want to stay engaged with what you're reading, the best thing that you can do is reading with a preview. So for example, when you're doing your required readings from textbook chapters, review the lecture slides first so you know what you're getting into before you jump into the readings. If you have a case, if you have a full-blown case that you need to read, if possible, try to find a case summary so you can read that. You know what you're getting into before you read that full case. Because reading a full case sometimes can be very hard to instantly understand at first. It helps to know what they're talking about ahead